إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Verily, actions are bought by intentions. These are the words of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Just let that sink in for a moment. Feel the weight of that. It's a declaration that the entire value, the entire reality of what we do, isn't in the action itself. It's in the secret, silent, unseen intention that lives and breathes inside our hearts.
You see, this is so much more than just a piece of good advice or some motivational quote. In the Islamic tradition, this statement is considered an absolute cornerstone of the faith. I mean, some scholars have even said it represents 1/3 of all Islamic knowledge. Think about that. It's like a spiritual compass that orients our entire being, a principle that guides everything from the smallest daily task to the most profound act of worship.
So why is it so important? Well, for one, the great scholar Imam al-Bukhari chose this exact statement to be the very first one in his huge, monumental collection of prophetic traditions. It was his starting point. And why would he do that? It's like a reminder, not just for us, but for himself. Before you start any great work, before you write a single word, the first and most critical step is to look inward and purify your intention for God alone. This teaching tells us that our deeds are basically empty vessels, and it's our intention that fills them with meaning, with light, and with worth. Now, like any profound teaching that's been passed down through history, to really feel its weight, we have to know the person who first heard it, who understood it, and who saved it for all of us. The story of this statement is completely tied to the story of the person who narrated it. And the man who heard this directly from the Prophet was none other than Umar ibn al-Khattab, one of the closest companions, the second caliph of the Muslim community. He was just this towering figure, known for his wisdom, his fierce sense of justice, and his deep, unwavering faith. So, Omar, who was known as the commander of the faithful, remembers hearing the Prophet say these words from the pulpit, the minbar, in the mosque. Can you just imagine that scene? The community is gathered together, their leader is speaking to them, not about politics or worldly things, but delivering this timeless truth that would echo for centuries. A truth that starts and ends with the most secret part of us, our intention.
Okay, so let's really dive into the words themselves, because the original Arabic here is incredibly precise. It's so much more powerful than the English translation can really capture. The beauty, the depth, the absolute certainty of it all. It's locked inside a single word. And that word is innama. See, in Arabic, this isn't just some connector word. It's a tool of absolute confinement. It creates an exclusive reality. So the statement isn't just saying, oh, actions are influenced by intentions. No. It's saying actions are nothing but their intentions. It means the core reality, the divine value of what you do is defined only by the intention behind it and by nothing else. And that right there changes everything. What the world sees as secondary, what God judges is the why. So you've got this beautiful duality, right? On one hand, you have the action, the external, the physical movement of the body that everybody can see. But on the other hand, you have the intention, the internal, the unseen driver in the heart that only God can see. One is the form, the other is the spirit. And this teaching tells us that it's the spirit that gives the form its true life, its true reality. An action without a pure intention is just a beautiful but lifeless body. And to make this principle just crystal clear, the Prophet didn't just state the rule. He gave this powerful, real-world example. He continued the statement with a brilliant illustration, a story about one of the most significant events of his time, the Hijrah, the migration of the early Muslims from persecution in Mecca to safety in Medina. And through this story, he asks a question that is for all of us, in every single generation. How is it possible that two people can perform the exact same difficult, life-altering action? I mean, they endure the same hardships, they walk the same path, and yet they arrive at two completely different spiritual destinies. Well, the answer, of course, is buried deep inside their hearts. And what's so powerful about this is how it lays out these two paths. On one side, you have the true migrant. His intention is pure. He's leaving his home, his wealth, everything he knows, only for the sake of God and his messenger. His journey is a prayer. And what's his outcome? Divine acceptance. His migration is recorded for all time. Then, on the other side, you have the worldly migrant. His action is identical. He's enduring the same desert heat, the same dangers, but his intention, he's doing it to get a business deal, or maybe to marry a specific woman. And his outcome? He gets exactly what he intended for, the money, the marriage, but that's it, nothing more. The spiritual value is zero. The very same act, two completely different realities in the sight of God.
So this brings up a really practical question, right? Does every single little thing we do, every breath, every step, need a new formal intention? Well, the scholars who've studied this for centuries have laid out some beautiful details, helping us understand when an explicit intention is absolutely essential and when it isn't. And this is the true alchemy of intention. It has the power to turn the most mundane things into something sacred. I mean, take a simple act like sleeping. By itself, it's just a biological need. But if you go to sleep with the intention of gaining strength to wake up for the morning prayer, that very sleep is elevated. It becomes an act of worship, something you're rewarded for. Your eating, your work, your family time, your entire life can become this uninterrupted act of worship, just through this simple, silent shift in your heart. Now, there are some acts that are valid just as they are, without needing a special intention to make them count. Why? Because they don't really look like anything else. Reciting the Quran is clearly an act of devotion. Remembering God is what it is. And not doing something forbidden, like not stealing, is just the default state for a believer. But, and this is so important, while the act itself is valid, forming a conscious intention to please God while doing these things is what unlocks their immeasurable spiritual reward. It's the difference between just doing good and doing good for God. So, the most essential role of intention, then, is to distinguish things. It distinguishes a simple habit from a conscious act of worship, like fasting for your health versus fasting for God. And it also distinguishes one type of worship from another. For instance, the obligatory prayers, from the outside, they can look exactly the same. The only thing that makes one the noon prayer and the other the afternoon prayer is that silent, specific intention you hold in your heart right before you start. Ultimately, what this all leads to is this really beautiful and deeply personal reality. Your intention is your secret inner compass. It's the silent, constant conversation that's happening only between you and your creator. Nobody else can see it, nobody else can judge it. In a world that's so much about performance and appearances, your intention is the one space that is completely, purely, and authentically yours. It is the truest expression of your will and your love. If there's one single thing to take away from our time together today, one image to hold on to, let it be this. Think of every action you perform as a body, a physical form. But that body is lifeless without a soul. Your intention is the soul of that action. It's what gives it life, what gives it meaning, purpose, and in the end, its eternal worth in the sight of God. And so, this ancient, sacred teaching comes all the way down to us today as a very personal, very immediate question. Before you send that next text message, before you speak that next word to your family, before you take that next step at your job, just pause for a single moment, turn inward, and ask yourself, what is the soul I am about to give this action? Before your next action, what will you intend?